Hi, hope everybody's good today. So I want to talk to you about breast implant illness and what it means to me and a little bit about my health journey and how I got to this diagnosis maybe. I'm not sure that's a good word, but let me just explain a little bit. So my name is Stephanie and I have suffered from some kind of health issue for quite some time over the last, say, 15 years-ish. It started with stomach problems when I was younger, and I think that's totally unrelated to what's going on right now. So I had my implants, let me think, sometime in 2018. My youngest daughter is 10, and so I had them done right after she was born, about 6 months after she was born. And for no other reason than if you are a mom and you've had kids, then you know everything goes south. And for me, my chest did. And so I just decided, my husband and I had kind of talked about it, and we just decided that let's go have a consult. Let's see what they say and how I feel about it. And so I felt good about it, and I went in to have my surgery in not 2018. It is 2018, 2008, 10 years ago. In March was 10 years ago. And so everything was great. I healed great, had no problems, whatever. And so about, I don't know, 7 years into it, maybe, I continued to have stomach problems. Everything I ate hurt my stomach. It didn't matter what I ate. It hurt my stomach. Water, spicy foods, not spicy foods, fruit, meat, and bread together, which is silly. So like I haven't eaten a sandwich in I don't know how long because it always hurt my stomach. Well, then it started becoming food intolerances, and then it was headaches, and I didn't really put anything together. So the food intolerances became dairy, soy, and gluten. Those things seemed to be my major triggers. Then it became tiny things like peanut butter and pineapple would break my whole mouth out, and just random stuff. And my husband was like, that doesn't make any sense. The average person doesn't have that many food intolerances and something not be wrong. And I was like, you're right, but who knows? So fast forward a little bit. Like I said, I was getting headaches, major headaches, and, would last for days. And again, still unrelated, stomach problems, headache, whatever, weather, stress, whatever. Then it became joint pain. So my back hurt all the time. My joints hurt all the time. And I was a runner at the time. And it hurt to run. My knees, my feet, just everything hurt to run. So I kind of quit running, started modifying. Now, mind you, I have worked out and tried to eat right throughout this whole process. And there have been times where I just did not have the energy. I didn't have the want. I didn't have the care. Almost like a depression, but I wasn't depressed. At least I didn't think I was. I had no reason to be. My doctors have described it as malaise, just this really, I don't give a rat's feeling. And that's kind of how it became. So I started doing yoga and things like that. And this kind of jumps around because it's just such a up and down roller coaster it has been for the last probably 5 years now, that it just really has not been fun. And so I started noticing little things like my hair was falling out, my nails were really dry, my skin was really dry, I couldn't lose certain weight. And it's not that I really care what I weigh. It's a very swollen, uncomfortable weight. It's almost like your cells are full and you're doing everything you can to keep that from happening. Eating right, anti-inflammatory foods, anti-inflammatory, teas and different things like that, water out the rear end. And it just wasn't getting any better. And so now here we are, say about 2 years ago, which is really when it was just like, so my hair was falling out by handfuls. And all of this time, I have seen countless doctors. I have seen gastro doctors. I have seen endocrinologists. I have seen sinus doctors for my headache. ENTs. I have seen rheumatologists, and I have been diagnosed with everything under the sun: fibromyalgia, a thyroid condition, but not necessarily disease. My throat had started swelling in all this time. I was having a hard time swallowing. My skin would itch. I would itch all over. Certain things I would eat would just make me itch everywhere. And I was like, this is the craziest thing. All of this has to be connected. And every time I would go, I mean, I looked the same as I did, that many years ago. As far as like how I look, the health of my body, the health of my appearance, I look the same. And so my doctors would say, well, you look great. You're relatively in good shape, as far as like weight wise. At the time I was a little bit thinner because I literally had cut everything out of my diet. But then I got all these vitamin deficiencies. I had gone vegan and I felt great for say 21, 30 days, that kind of time frame, a month or so. But then I realized things weren't going well. So I literally had tried everything to fix this problem on my own because every doctor said, you look fine, your blood work looks fine, this looks fine, this looks fine. Well, the problem with that is that Western medicine doesn't draw for optimal range blood work and different things in your body and food sensitivities and allergists. I mean, truly, I have seen the gamut besides a neurologist because no one thinks I'm crazy. Or maybe they do think I'm crazy and they're just not telling me. But whatever. Actually, I had a doctor tell me he thought that, but I'm not crazy. Like, how you feel. When things aren't right. And I just knew I did not feel right. I did not feel like I felt before I had kids. And I knew my kids didn't do it. People have kids every day and their body doesn't freak out like that. So I knew that wasn't what it was. So then I start fearing. I did the 21andMe genetic testing and all these genetic issues came back. And I'm like, what if I pass this on to my kids? Did my parents give it to me? I mean, like you truly start feeling crazy, like you're chasing everything. So fast forward to, I don't know, say 6 to 8 months ago, same thing, swelling, my mouth would break out, my joints would hurt. I had gotten to where I couldn't hardly do many workouts. I could only walk. I couldn't run. Gone to see a chiropractor. She helped me for a while, but then it was like, I can't keep doing this. This is not the problem. Then I got kidney disease last year. Out of nowhere, I got kidney disease. So my kidneys were bleeding and spilling protein. That's not normal. Together, that's not normal. Well, you shouldn't have protein in your urine ever, but sometimes you do when you're pregnant. But when you're just a normal, healthy, as everyone thought I was, adult, you shouldn't have protein in your urine. So I was having all of this issues. I had gone to see a kidney doctor for a year. They did a bladder biopsy. They did a bladder scope. They did a kidney biopsy. I had kidney stones that they blasted. So I've had 3 surgeries for that. And I'm like, I don't get it. Nobody in my family has kidney disease. What is wrong? So then we started thinking, okay, maybe it's the supplements I take when I work out or energy drink. And all of this is plant-based. It's all natural. Nothing is crazy that I shouldn't be having because I'm so super careful. Oh, and let me tell you, in the meantime, I forgot about this lady, but this polka dot basket, I don't even know how to point. That polka dot basket is full of natural supplements and stuff that this naturopath helped put me on. And she was great too, but she diagnosed me with Lyme's disease. So let's go through what I've been diagnosed with before I've seen my functional medicine doctor. Sjogren's disease, fibromyalgia. I have been diagnosed with food intolerances. I had cysts on my thyroid. They did not biopsy. They weren't big enough to biopsy, but the ultrasound. Lyme's disease. And I'm like, I don't think I have any of that. I have just enough symptoms to be some of that, but not all of that. They had me pricking my finger to test my blood because my blood sugar would drop. I mean, you name it, my body has been through it. So I start seeing this functional medicine doctor just before Christmas. He runs a gamut of tests. We're talking thousands of dollars of tests. And I adore him and his staff. They have been wonderful to me. So they took 32 vials of blood. 32! That's a lot. They tested for everything under the sun for me. Antibodies, blood cell count, vitamin deficiencies. I mean, everything. They cut pieces out of my hair. They didn't, but I had to go to my hairdresser and she did. Big pieces of my hair. It's still growing out. To test for toxicity. Then I did a saliva test twice. Then I also did, in the meantime too, I've been put on progesterone because I had gone to see what do you call it? Brain fog is the major problem right now. Hormone doctor, holy cow, sorry. So anyway, talk about frustrating. My poor husband, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Just back up. I don't know what you're saying. So, anyway, oh, and let's just be real. Like any kind of drive I would have to be intimate with anybody, much less, well, anybody, was like in the toilet. So, that's tough when you have a marriage and, your husband's like, hey, and you're like, no, not ever. So there's that too. So anyway, back to my topic. I see this functional medicine doctor. Then they do a stool test, like they're testing for parasites and they're testing for yeast and viruses and all this crazy stuff. So finally, they put me on a supplement protocol based on what all of my tests come back. So now we have a Word document of all the things that are wrong with me, from severe iron deficiency. I know this is hard to listen to with my brain. Then I have B12 problems. I have genetic MTHFR, MTRR. I have Epstein-Barr virus. I have liver dysfunction. I have gallbladder dysfunction. I have kidney dysfunction. I have Hashimoto's disease, herpes virus, tin toxicity. Where do you even get tin toxicity? I don't even eat out of a tin can, ever. That's where they said you could get that. Or like foods that may be grown with tin in the soil, but you'd have to eat it all the time for it to stay in your body, to have a toxicity of it. Okay, I don't have anything that's tin anywhere, which is crazy. Then I have all these, like, my gut dysbiosis is what they call it, is a wreck. Some things are too high, some things are too low. My good bacteria is not enough. My bad bacteria is too much. Then we have the hormone issue, which explains my poor husband's frustration. It's like my testosterone is super high, my progesterone is super low, my estrogen is freaked out. Like my whole body suffers from whatever's wrong. So I'm chugging along. I'm taking all of my supplements. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be. I am on the most hardcore diet that you can. I'm not anymore because I have to switch what I'm doing after I have my surgery, and I'll explain that in a second. So I came off of everything I was doing for that. But so I'm trucking along with all of my supplements. And one day I'm online on Facebook. Thank God for Facebook most of the time in my situation. And I see this story come about from a friend of mine who's talking about breast implant illness. And I was like, I have saline. That's not, whatever. Not true. I did not know that. So then I see another friend talking to one of my friends online. Same thing, breast implant illness. And I'm like, there is something, there is a reason. And I had heard about this, like, say 6 months ago. But I was like, whatever. I have saline. That doesn't apply to me because you only hear problems with silicone. So once again, it comes across my radar. And I was like, that's God tapping me on the shoulder saying, you need to pay attention to this. You need to see what this is about. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So I messaged both of these women. I'm like, please tell me about this because I need to know. I start researching hardcore and find out that saline implants are a silicone shell. And I start looking at the symptoms. Every single one of them I have. Every single one. The only thing maybe I don't have is like tremors and significant weight gain because I have stayed such a healthy eater throughout all of this because I know things will cause my inflammation to go skyrocket. We were in Mexico last week and my whole lips swelled up. It was ridiculous. Looked like I had injections just right there. My husband was like, what happened to you overnight? The craziest thing. So it freaks my body out when I eat the things I'm not supposed to or drink. I can't have alcohol, none of that. I mean, I did last week, but whatever. So anyway, so I start researching this and I see every single symptom that I've had. And what it basically says is your body starts attacking. So when you get an implant, any kind of foreign object in your body, but since we're talking about implants, your body creates a capsule around it. And it's like a thin layer, almost like an eggshell, for lack of a better term. And your body sees that as foreign. And not everybody does this. Some people go their whole life with implants of some kind and do fine, but not everybody can. And so my body, we think, is freaking out. And the longer you have them, the worse it gets. So I'm on 10 years now. They're technically only certified for 10 years. And so my body is just not digging them. We think I've developed a lump. You can't see down here, but it's just like the bottom of my breast and my ribs. It's just below that. And it hurts. I've had it for just before Christmas. And I thought I worked out too hard and pulled a muscle. It's not. It's a knot. So they're going to take that out too, because it could have something to do with my implants. They don't know. But anyway, so, you know, you start reading all this stuff and you go, okay, am I crazy? Am I just grasping at straws again? Or is this for real? So I talked to my husband about it and he's like, that makes total sense. It attacks your kidney. I mean, it can make your whole body freak out. And that's what mine's doing. You get diagnosed with all these autoimmune diseases and all this crazy stuff. And so we talked and talked and talked. I prayed very, very hard about this, about it not just being the next best thing to figure out what's wrong with me, but it made sense. It made sense why something is causing my body to attack itself. I have some kind of joint autoimmune disease that I don't even know what it is, but my body attacks my joints. So my back hurts nonstop. My knees hurt all the time and my fingers. It affects those 3 places the worst. Random. It's crazy. So, I went to see my original surgeon and talked to him, and he said there's not enough data, blah, blah, blah. You know, basically, he didn't feel like that was my problem, but he'd be happy to take them out. So I left a little iffy, like, I don't know. I feel a little torn. So then I go to another surgeon, and he completely eased my fears, explained the whole situation, and said he's done over 100 of people just like me. And he said there isn't a lot of data. There's not a lot of, like, you can't go test for breast implant illness. But he said people's bodies don't lie. People who are covered in rashes and have depression and anxiety and all these things that I have had, it goes away. Sometimes within days. And obviously your body has to detox all of the toxins from your implants and that shell that they remove. So there is a period of time that, you know, you have this detox process. But it's one of my friends refers to it as the heal is real. Like, it really immediately starts feeling better. Your body quits attacking itself and starts healing itself. So I then went to my functional medicine doctor and was like, look, please don't think I'm crazy, but here's what I've been researching. What do you think? And he's like, totally, absolutely. I think that it's 100% possible that's what's wrong with you. Not everything. My stomach problems maybe have been from when I was born, and that's okay. I can deal with those. But it's all the other stuff that goes along with it that it's like, golly, only one body can handle so much and so much restrictions. So anyway, here we are today thinking that my breast implants are causing my illnesses and my body to attack itself. So Thursday, that'll be 2 days from now, I get mine out. And so I'm going to document my story from this point on, because obviously I didn't document it prior to, because I didn't know there was anything wrong in that area. So I am nervously excited, but I will keep y'all posted about how it goes and how I feel. I'm a little nervous about, like, the drains and the pain and all that stuff, because getting them in hurts. If someone tells you it doesn't hurt, they're an idiot. They're lying to you. It's like someone telling you childbirth doesn't hurt. They're lying. They don't want to scare you. But getting breast implants does hurt. And so I'm a little nervous about getting them out. And they've said I should do fine. It's not going to be as bad a pain as getting them. So anyway, that's where I am today. I get my breast implants out in 2 days, Thursday morning at 7:30. And then they'll biopsy my other little lump because they want to see if it has anything to do with my implants or any, byproduct of that. And yeah, that's kind of it. I will probably do another video that has to do with, like, a little bit more about breast implant illness specifically. But that's a little bit of my story. And I hope you follow along to see that my heal is going to be real. And hope I didn't leave any important parts out. And anyway, that's it. I hope y'all have an awesome day. See ya.